Hello. Um, we've been talking a lot and researching a lot about Jakarta, Indonesia for a while now. There is a multitude of sustainability issues at play as the result of many factors, many of which were man-made. As climate change continues to cause global issues, it's important to identify some of the factors that make Jakarta particularly vulnerable. One of the most obvious characteristics of Jakarta is it's an island city. This represents many of the threats that climate change poses. For one, the city sits just barely above sea level due to an over-extraction of groundwater as a result of numerous causes such as rapid expansion and inequitable development for poverty-stricken communities. The city is undergoing sinking known as subsidence, which makes flooding and sinking even worse as sea levels rise. Another issue is that being located on a small island, the community already has access to very limited resources, whether that be forest, coastal, river, or ecosystems, which hold resources such as timber, coal, fresh water, fish, things like that. With major population growth, um, wait, sorry, ecosystems which they rely on greatly. Rapid and poorly done urban and economic development, along with major population growth, has depleted and destroyed many of these resources, to where they are on the brink of not being able to repair and return. As climate change worsens, their ability to stop, fix the problems, and sustain and conserve these resources for future generations shrinks, and their resources will only become more scarce and less reliable. Additionally, as the world continues to heat up, fishing resources will disappear, and their heat island effect will continue to worsen due to rise in global temperatures. If Jakarta continues without further advancements in progress towards sustainable development and action, it's clear that the city will quickly become uninhabitable. Fortunately, the true status quo for Jakarta is to attain sustainable development and push better practices as well as equity for all. This is largely the result of key societal characteristic that Jakarta and Indonesia as a whole exhibits. This is that they are remarkably good at coming together as local communities and forming societal and social movements and protests to force environmental and ethical changes that the government has a history of ignoring. Indonesia is still a very young nation, having been colonized and passed around from one oppressor to another for hundreds of years. Even when they did achieve independence, they were forced into an authoritarian regime, which only recently has been replaced by democratic rule, which has been implemented only recently. They have a long history of social movements demanding change, whether it be in the 70s protests against Freiburg industrial development, or the forming of WALHI, also known as the Indonesian Forum for Environment in 1980, or the Housing Rights in Jakarta project in 2016, among countless other social movements and protests. Although the situation seems incredibly bleak, there is still hope resulting from the power that these local communities and movements, um, as well as the commitment by the newest Jakarta government for sustainable development, as seen by their participation in C20 cities and EU Sustainable Development Goals, as well as other organizations, which ultimately have resulted from the social change made possible by these social and community groups and protests. Thank you very much.